on Tuesday, April 27th, 2021 at 7:30 p.m. via teleconference. The prayer will be offered by City Clerk Susan Lovering, and Alderman O'Brien will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and the serious duty to manage the affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As president of the Board of Aldermen, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-4, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. To access Zoom, please refer to the agenda or the city's website for the meeting link. To join by phone, dial 1-929-205-6099. The meeting ID is 875-4593-5804, and the passcode is 999999. The public may also view the meeting via channel 16. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting through public postings. Instructions have also been provided on the city's website at nashuanh.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall and the Nashua Public Library. If anyone has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or channel 16, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you connect. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting via the methods mentioned above, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
I am present, I can hear the proceedings, and I am alone.
Alderman Clee,
I am here. I can hear the proceedings and I am alone.
Alderwoman Kelly,
She won't be joining us this evening.
Alderman Dow,
Yes, I am present. I can hear the proceedings and I am alone.
Alderman Karen,
Yes, I am here. I am alone and I can hear everyone.
Alderman Clemmons,
I am here. I'm by myself and I can hear everyone.
Alderman Lopez, Alderman Tenza,
Alderman Tenza will not be joining us this evening.
Alderwoman Lou,
I'm here alone and I can hear you.
Alderman Jettie,
I'm here alone and I can hear the proceedings.
Alderman Schmidt,
I'm present, alone, and can hear everyone.
Alderman Laws,
I'm here, I'm alone, and I can hear everyone.
Alderman Cleaver,
Alderman Cleaver will not be joining us this evening.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
I'm present. I'm alone in this room and I can hear everyone.
Alderman Wilshire.
I'm here, I'm alone, and I can hear everyone.
You have 11 in attendance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also in attendance is Mayor James Donches and Corporation Counsel Steve Bolton. Mayor, do you wish to address the board this evening? You're on mute, Mayor.
Sorry about that. Thank you,
Okay.
Madam President. I just have a few things I wanted to mention. First of all, I wanted to again thank our public health department, our public health nurses, and many volunteers for the great job they did over the weekend at the vaccination clinic up at Fidelity. They were delivering, in this case, second round vaccinations because they did a similar clinic 4 weeks ago. They were able to vaccinate more than 2,400 people, again, second doses. And that is not all they're doing, but that was a outstanding job. And so we're very thankful to them and for everyone who participated in that. As far as the pandemic goes, we're still seeing so-called community transmission. New cases are arising. We currently have, in the last week, diagnosed cases were about 120. One development has been that in terms of the hospitalizations in our two hospitals, they tend to be now in the 30 to 50 age, the age 30 to 50 range, rather than the older people, seniors, because a lot of seniors have been vaccinated. So we're seeing some very sick people who are in a younger age group. So we need to continue to be careful, exercise caution, as we've talked about many times. We need to expand the number of people who've been vaccinated. Right now, according to state statistics, about 20% of Nashua's population has been fully vaccinated, and nearly 40% has received at least one shot. So we've reached 40% of the population, but of course we need to get to 70 or 80 if we can. Madam President, next week, or 2 weeks from now, I'm sorry, it's my expectation that we will introduce the budget for your consideration. The one item that I wanted to mention is we've really gotten results with respect to healthcare costs. As we've discussed a number of times, over a period of 2 years, that's last fiscal year and then the beginning of this fiscal year, healthcare costs for city employees went up $6 million. That amounts to a 3% just by itself increase in the tax rate. So thanks to our city finance team, Kim Kleiner, our benefits consultants, and everyone, we were able to develop a plan to reduce healthcare costs, both for the city and the weekly contributions that employees needed to make. Now, this has been adopted for a number of employee groups. It's definitely getting results, and you will see that healthcare costs overall are approximately flat, not up the same 9%, 11%, millions of dollars that we've seen in previous years. And of course, our mission is to try to get this adopted for all employees so that we can continue to see savings. It's a plan that benefits everyone, employees and the city and our taxpayers. Finally, Madam President, I just wanted to thank Alderwoman Karen for again helping to steer us in the right direction when it comes to the senior center. She has proposed, and of course many of us have signed on to the annual transfer of some capital costs for our senior center. They've been, of course, doing well there for a long, long time. They've begun programming again. And as usual, Alderman Karen is taking very good care of our seniors and our senior center. So thank you, Alderman June Karen. With that, I conclude, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there anyone that has any response to the remarks of the mayor? I would just like to also send kudos to Alderman Karen. She's been looking out for them for many years and does a really good job. So thank you, Alderman Karen. Recognition period.
There is none.
Reading minutes of previous meetings. There being no objection, I will declare the minutes of the Board of Aldermen meeting of April 13th, 2021 accepted, placed on file, and the reading suspended. Communications requiring only procedural actions and written reports from liaisons. Without objection, I will allow for the suspension of rules for a communication from Kathy Breslin, Nashua Police Department, Administrative Project Specialist, that was received after the agenda was prepared.
Communication from Kathy Breslin, Nashua Police Department Administrative Project Specialist regarding the referral from the Board of Aldermen on Resolution R21-128. From Matthew Sullivan, Planning Manager, regarding the referral from the Board of Aldermen on proposed Resolution R21-124, approving a Fifth Amendment to purchase and sale of city land at 21 Pine Street, map 77, lot 17, and land of Public Service Company of New Hampshire, doing business as Eversource Energy at 3 Pine Street Extension, map 77, lot 2A. And from Donna Graham, Legislative Affairs Manager, regarding a communication received from the public.
There being no objection, I'll accept the communications and place them on file. We have a period for public comment relative to items expected to be acted upon this evening. Is there anyone that wishes to address the board? You can raise your hand in the under participants if you want to address the board. Seeing no one. Communications requiring final approval.
A communication has been received from Larry D. Goodyear, Chief Executive Officer of Pennachuck Corporation, regarding annual meeting of sole shareholder.
Alderman Laws.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to recommend the election of the following individuals to the Pennachuck Corporation Board of Directors until their successors are elected and qualified. David P. Bernier, Stephen D. Genest, and Thomas J. Leonard, for 3-year terms, and authorize the mayor to transmit by proxy card the vote of the sole shareholder to the Board of Directors of Pennachuck Corporation by roll call. May I speak to this real quickly?
Alderman Laws.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to relay the confidence that I have in these 3 gentlemen. We went over it at the last Pennachuck meeting, and they're all basically legacy members of the board, and they do an excellent job. And if anyone is interested, please look up that meeting, and you will agree with me, I assure you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Laws. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a parliamentary inquiry. Would you like to see the procedure to call each person by name, or is it a simple yay or nay would suffice on this vote?
I think a simple yay or nay would suffice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
yes,
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes,
You have 11 yeas and 0 nays.
and that motion carries.
Communication has been received from Kim Kleiner, Administrative Services Director, regarding coronavirus disease COVID-19 policy amendment.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make a motion to remove the temporary policy on shutdowns and emergency leave due to coronavirus disease, COVID-19, effective May 1st, 2021 by roll call. And may I speak to the motion?
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you. What we have is here, Madam President, is with the COVID-19, certain administrative priorities had to be set, such as like people who had contracted the disease, the sickness and the time off. This brought on different administrative procedures. It seems like we're getting very close to the finish line, so I'm very happy to see this. And this means that we could go back to something typical effective May 1st in 2021. So let's hope for the best. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion on this motion?
Question?
Alderman Lou.
Thank you. I haven't had access to my my email for a couple of days. Is this I don't see this on the agenda. Was it recently changed or added in the last couple of days or after Friday?
I'm not sure I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm sorry.
Would it be appropriate for me to abstain from voting? I haven't seen this particular, I don't understand this.
Well, you can ask some questions. Sure someone could come up with an answer for you.
We're approving a resolution, correct?
We are.
President Wiltshire, I just read a communication that appeared on the agenda on the first page prior to petitions. It's the last communication under 9B of the Rules of Order, communications requiring final approval.
Okay, so there was no legislation.
Okay, all right.
And you can't abstain if you're here and present.
I see.
Okay. Any other discussion on that motion?
Quick question. Is it possible someone can give me, I apologize. I've looked through the packet and missed this. Could someone just give me an idea of the general gist of it?
I could ask Ms. Kleiner if she would weigh in on it.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board. So as most of you know, we have discussed this several times now over the past year. The city, all municipal governments and employers with fewer than 500 employees were governed by the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which enabled certain paid leave provisions from April 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. The city did comply with those regulations and provided paid sick leave at an employee's regular rate of pay if an employee was unable to work because they were quarantined or experienced COVID-19 symptoms. We also provided paid sick leave at 2/3 of an employee's regular rate of pay if they were unable to secure childcare due to a school or childcare provider being closed due to COVID-19. These were all required of us by that act. We did continue the policy from January 1st until now, due to the rates of transmission and the number of COVID-19 cases in the community, to provide a safe workplace and safety to the taxpayers that came into the building. Now we have consulted with public health and with our various division directors, and we feel that due to the rate of vaccination, the opening of our public schools, that we would ask the board to discontinue the policy as it is no longer required by us, by law.
Thank you, Director Kleiner. You all set, Alderwoman Lou?
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet.
And I apologize.
That's fine. Thank you. Alderman Clemmons.
Thank you. If I could ask a question through you to Director Kleiner, has everybody who's working, who this affects, has everybody who this policy would affect by May 1st been able to get their vaccine, their second shot, and go past the 2 weeks?
Director Kleiner?
Well, as you know, the city cannot require our employees to become vaccinated. It has been available. We have a very high vaccination rate, and our division directors have been consulted on removing this policy, and we feel it is in the best interest of meeting the needs of our daily business and of providing services. The return to work policy will remain in effect. So employees entering the workforce will still go through the normal check of having their temperatures taken and answering the return to work questions. And if anyone is not vaccinated, they experience symptoms or show any signs, they will be required to quarantine. And at that point, of course, they have use of their sick time, vacation time, or whatever time their collective bargaining agreement provides.
Alderman Clemmons.
I understand that, and I get that, and I know that we're going through what we hope is to be the end of this nightmarish last year. However, I do believe, and I do believe strongly that everyone should have the opportunity to get fully vaccinated if they so want to. And when I use myself as an example, I signed up on the first day that New Hampshire residents were able to sign up, and I haven't gotten my second shot yet. My second shot I don't get till May 5th, which then puts me out another 2 weeks. And so, I'm wondering, plus, I'm wondering if we're jumping the gun on this policy, because, to me, I think we would want to wait until everybody was able to declare themselves fully vaccinated. So I'm going to make a motion to amend this by saying it will take effect, or will remain in effect until June 1st, 2021. And that's my motion.
Okay. The motion is to amend to have this be effective for June 1st, you said, right, Alderman Clemmons?
Through June 1st.
Right,
Yep.
okay. All right, discussion, Alderman Lopez.
I was actually going to ask about how this might be affected by staff, city staff who might be have children in the school system. I know that a couple of schools around New Hampshire have had outbreaks forcing them to have their in-person classes suspended pending quarantine and evaluation. So I don't want to put our city staff in a position where maybe they have their kids in our schools. If something happens, I want to make sure they have, with everything else they have to worry about, they don't have to figure out childcare too. And likewise, I don't want to introduce unnecessarily COVID through a vector of our city staffs if, as Alderman Clemmons said, they are in that higher exposure rate risk factor because they haven't finished their vaccinations yet. I really am hoping we can finish the school year out without having any more disruptions to classes. So I think I'm in favor of his motion as well.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. And if I may, through you, to ask Ms. Kleiner to where this is the depending amendment just came up, if she would like to speak on that and to advise the board. Is it mission critical? Can we wait till June 1st?
Director Kleiner.
Certainly, if it is the will of the board, we can wait until June 1st. We just would stress that it is no longer required by law, but I see no problems in waiting until June 1st.
You all set, Alderman O'Brien?
Very good, thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Lopez.
So just to clarify the way the amendment is worded, If we pass this tonight, it does pass tonight, but effective June 1st.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Alderwoman Lou?
Thank you. Director Kleiner, could you just tell me again, did you say that I understand some people choose not to be vaccinated, possibly? Has everyone that wants to be vaccinated been able to be vaccinated in planning for this change?
Director Kleiner?
Certainly. So Alderman Clemmons is correct. I mean, there are members, depending upon when your age class or qualified for the vaccination, where you may not have received your second shot. For instance, I just received my second on Sunday from the Public Health Department. So thank you very much to them and kudos to them. But he is correct. There are members, depending upon when you became eligible to sign up, where you may be just reaching that second shot status. We cannot require our employees to become vaccinated, but we certainly do, as our public health department and the administration does, we recommend it.
A follow-up, please?
Yes.
So I'm still not clear whether, so could someone choose not to get vaccinated?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Clemmons?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Jettie, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Madam Chairman. So I'm a little conflicted here because I think Alderman Clemmons has brought up some good points, but here we are in a situation where this policy change, I believe, has not gone through a committee. It's coming to us directly. I'm not sure that I thought it was, when I first read it, it sounded pretty routine. It sounded like like everybody was on board with it. But I'm wondering, Alderman Lopez also brought out a good point. Ms. Kleiner said that the Board of Health was consulted. I'd feel better if there was someone from the Board of Health, or at least at this meeting, that could confirm that. So I'm wondering, whether or not it would be appropriate to refer this to a committee. I'm assuming the Personnel Committee to review this. And if I could ask Ms. Kleiner, what is the effect of this? Does this mean that employees who, for whatever reason, don't feel safe coming into work, can they continue to work remotely, or do they have to come to work? And if they choose not to come to work, they have to use their, whatever time is, vacation time or personal time, whatever. I think you pointed out whatever their collective bargaining agreements might provide. Could you clarify us on that? What is the full effect of this? I understand the part about the city not having to pay people who cannot come to work because of COVID. Could you just clarify that issue for me? Thank you.
Director Kleiner.
Yes, certainly. So if I may just, our apologies. So the original policy and both amendments since the original policy were communicated the same way to the board through a communication. So we did the same in this instance. I do just want to clarify, it was not the Board of Health that was consulted. It was the Director of Public Health that was consulted. This does not change an employee's ability to work remotely. The policy on employees working remotely is still through the administration. There are some departments that continue to work remotely for various reasons. And they will still be paid to work remotely as they are phased back into City Hall for various different reasons. And that's still worked with the division director and the administration. So it has no effect on if an employee is working remotely due to that reason, those reasons. This is strictly if an employee has been exposed to COVID-19 or is experiencing symptoms and they are quarantined and they are required to work within City Hall and not remotely, they would not be eligible for what we call the COVID-19 paid leave, which pays them their salary not to work. If that helps.
Yeah, if I may, Madam President.
Alderman Jettie.
Yeah, well, that's helpful. So Alderman Clemens's motion to amend would just put this off until June 1st. And you're saying that you're okay with that, that if that's what the board prefers, you have no problem with implementing that later date.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes, I sort of concur with the amendment. May 1st is 4 days away. Not that we're going to find any glitches with what we're doing for action, but making it June 1st gives us a little more time to feel it out and see if there are any glitches to it that we hadn't foreseen. So I have no problem with the amendment.
Okay, Alderwoman Lou.
Thank you. Just one last thing. Director Kleiner, I realize now the question I had, I guess, didn't get answered. Do you know whether everyone that is employed by the city that wants that to become vaccinated has had a chance to become fully vaccinated?
Director Kleiner.
So I cannot speak to how many of our staff have been vaccinated.
Okay.
They are not required to inform us of their vaccination status. I can say that most of us have had opportunity to become vaccinated at some point, but to Alderman Clemens' point, if you were going through the state vaccination process, different ages and according to different criteria, became eligible to sign up at later dates.
Thank you.
Anyone else? The motion is to amend the communication by changing May 1st to June 1st. Would the clerk please call the roll on the amendment?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
yes,
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
yes,
Alderman Jettie,
yes,
Alderman Schmidt,
yes,
Alderman Laws,
yes,
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
yes,
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes,
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
and that motion carries. So before us is a communication with the amendment for an effective date of June 1st. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
yes,
Alderman Clee,
yes,
Alderman Dowd,
yes,
Alderman Karen,
yes,
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
yes,
Alderman Jettie,
yes,
Alderman Schmidt,
yes,
Alderman Laws,
yes,
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
yes,
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes,
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
and that motion carries. Petitions,
There are none,
nominations, appointments, and elections.
none.
Reports of committees. There being no objection, I'll declare the report of the April 12th, 2021 Human Affairs Committee be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I'll declare the report of the April 14th, 2021 Pennachuck Special Water Committee be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I'll declare the report of the April 19th, 2021 Human Affairs Committee be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I'll declare the report of the April 20th, 2021 Planning and Economic Development Committee be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I will declare the report of the April 21st, 2021 Finance Committee be accepted and placed on file. There being no objection, I will suspend the rules to allow for the oral report of the Budget Review Committee meeting held Monday, April 26, 2021 regarding proposed resolutions 21-123 and R21-128. Alderman Dow.
yes. We had a budget review committee last night. It followed a public hearing on R21-127 and R21-128. During the meeting, we took up 4 resolutions. R21-123 relative to the transfer of $25,000 from contingency to civic and community activities, which passed unanimously. We also took up the R21-127, authorizing bonding for the city sewer infrastructure, which is not on tonight's agenda, but it was passed unanimously. R21-128, authorizing the mayor and the city treasurer to issue bonds not to exceed $1,550,000 to cover the police department's ongoing HIVAC program, which also passed unanimously. And Alderman Wiltshire and I were at the police commissioners meeting where it was passed unanimously by the police commissioners. And we also addressed resolution R21-131, authorizing the city to enter into contracts with various entities on the bus service. That concludes the oral report from the Budget Committee.
Thank you, Alderman Dowd. Confirmation of mayor's appointments.
There is none.
Unfinished business resolutions.
Second reading of resolution R21-123 relative to the transfer of $25,000 from Department 194 contingency, account 70100 general contingency to Department 109 civic and community activities, accounting classification 56, outside agencies, for the purpose of providing funding to the Nashua Association for the Elderly.
Alderwoman Karen.
yes, thank you, Madam President. I'd like to make a motion for final passage of R-21-123 by roll call, and I'd like to speak to it. Thank you.
Alderman Karen.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Mayor and President Wiltshire, for those kind words, but I do want to thank the board for the last 8 years or so. You have been very generous in providing the $25,000 for the Nashua Senior Center. And basically, this is to help them maintain the facility, painting, doing professional cleaning of the kitchen, and all of these great things that they probably wouldn't get to because of the money they raise really goes towards programming and to their staff, which is only 4 people. So this really has helped them in the long run. And the $5,000 that we require them to put in their reserve fund has been a huge help, especially in the last 16, 17 months. So I thank you all for your support in this.
Thank you, Alderman Karen. Is there discussion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes,
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
and that motion carries. Resolution 21-123 is declared duly adopted.
Second reading of Resolution R21-124, approving a Fifth Amendment to purchase and sale agreement of city land at 21 Pine Street, map 77, lot 17, and land of Public Service Company of New Hampshire, doing business as Eversource Energy at 3 Pine Street Extension, map 77, lot 2A.
Alderman Schmidt.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to amend R21-124 by replacing it with a goldenrod copy of the amendment made at the Planning and Economic Development Committee by roll call.
Is there discussion on that motion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderman Karen, Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes,
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
and that motion carries. Alderman Schmidt.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for final passage of R21-124 as amended by roll call, and I'd like to speak to that, please.
Alderman Schmidt.
Thanks. The substation that's owned by PSNH at 3 Pine Street Extension has been in need of replacement for some time. And they've been working with the city to do a property switch so that they could build new and the city would have a much better piece of land at that location. It's been under discussion for a long time. It's been delayed for many reasons, not the least of which has been the pandemic. So this is the need for this amendment and indeed for this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Schmidt. Further discussion? Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes,
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
that motion carries and resolution 21-124 is declared duly adopted as amended.
Second reading of Resolution R21-126, authorizing the mayor to apply for and expend the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, and Home Investment Partnership Program funds for fiscal year 2022.
Alderman Clee.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to amend R21-126 by replacing it with the goldenrod copy of amendments made at the Human Affairs Committee by roll call. And may I speak to that motion, please?
Alderman Clee.
Thank you, Madam President. The Human Affairs Committee, at our last meeting, we were introduced to new funds that had come into the city due to the pandemic, specifically for homelessness. And where the Nashua Soup Kitchen falls within that category, it's actually one of the few programs that do fall within that. We decided that those monies, or at least portions of those monies, would be well suited under the Nashua Soup Kitchen. What we had done originally to the original resolution was to give, and I'm trying to, pardon me here, I know I'm switching around here. We had given the Nashua Soup Kitchen $75,000 as well as the HODAG funds. What this does is it eliminates that. So item 10 from the original will now be replaced, and the numbers will change. And we added the rail trail, which is $68,000, which is 20% the matching funds. If we had not done that, we would have lost the opportunity to do this. And we don't want to leave money sitting on the table. So by making the switch and the difference of those funds between the 75,000 and the 68,000, as well as some contingency money, we put towards trying to get as whole as we possibly could to the Marguerite's Place boiler plant issues that they were having. So we increased them from $30,000 to $46,000. We spoke to Mr. Rinke from the Nashua Soup Kitchen, and he was very happy to go with these changes and so on. So in the end, the Nashua Soup Kitchen will end up getting a little bit more, and we were able to put more funds towards Marguerite's Place.
Thank you, Alderman Clee. Okay, is there discussion on the amendment? Alderman Lopez.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the committee and thank them for their work. I was worried about the extension to the rail trail not being considered, only because I recognize that it's a difficult year for taxpayers and that there were, as usual, 3 times as many requests as we actually had funding for. But that is there for a reason. It's going to be a critical lifeline for many people living on that side of the city to get to the Nashua Soup Kitchen safely. So I'm glad you guys found a way to balance both priorities. The Soup Kitchen is essential. It's our only women's shelter that we have available. It's our only family emergency shelter that we have in the city. And the expansions that they're doing will benefit the city greatly. But the rail trail is a very important project too. So I'm glad that there was a way found to move forward with it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, the motion is to amend. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
Yes.
Alderman Clee.
Yes.
Alderman Dowd.
Yes.
Alderman Karen.
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons.
Yes.
Alderman Lopez.
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou.
Yes.
Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman Harry Gathright.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
and that motion carries. Alderman Clee. Did we lose Alderman Clee? Well, there she
She's
is.
on mute.
I'm on mute. I apologize, Madam President. Yes, I get this straight here. I move to I'm sorry, a motion to move forward and pass R-21-126 by roll call, please.
As amended.
As amended.
As amended. Thank you.
Thank you. The motion is for final passage of resolution 21-126 as amended by roll call. Discussion on that motion. Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
yes,
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
yes,
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes.
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
And that motion carries. Resolution 21-126 is declared duly adopted as amended. There being no objection, I will allow for suspension of the rules for a second reading of resolution 21-128.
Second reading of resolution R-21-128, authorizing the mayor and city treasurer to issue bonds not to exceed the amount of $1,550,000 to pay additional costs of the police department's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, window improvements, and locker area improvement project.
Alderman Dow.
I'd like to make a motion for final passage of R-21-128 by roll call, and I'd like to talk to it.
Alderman Dow.
Just for clarification, this has been an ongoing project that was approved previously for all this funding. But when they, after the final engineering and because of COVID delays, they received 4 bids, 1 backed out, 3 bids were considered. The low bidder, which has qualifications within the city, were selected to do the work. And of course, the price went up because construction prices are going up right now. So this is vital to the police department and the atmosphere within the building. A lot of the work has been done. This will allow them to complete it. And there's an urgency to get it passed because the pricing is only good until, I believe, early May. So, and they still have to go through finance. So I recommend final passage.
Motion is for final passage of resolution 21-128. Further discussion on that motion. Seeing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dow,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
yes,
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman Harriet Gathright,
yes,
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes.
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
That motion carries and resolution 21-128 is declared duly adopted. Unfinished business ordinances,
There is none.
new business resolutions.
First reading of resolution R-21-132, approving the cost items of sidebar agreements between the Nashua Police Commission and the Nashua Police Supervisors Association and the Nashua Police Commission and the Nashua Police Patrolmen's Association regarding a wellness incentive program.
Additional sponsors, Alderman Schmidt, Alderman Harriet Gathright, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Clemmons, Alderman Clee, Alderwoman Lou. Did I get everyone?
Alderman Laws.
Alderman Laws. Thank you. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Budget Review Committee.
First reading of resolution R-21-133, authorizing the city of Nashua to enter into a joint powers agreement of Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire.
Additional sponsors, Alderman Clee, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Schmidt, Alderman Lopez, Alderman Harriet Gathright, and myself. Anyone else I missed? Seeing none, given its first reading, I will assign that to the Finance Committee and the National Planning Board.
First reading of Resolution R21-134, relative to the supplemental appropriation of $30,000 of unanticipated revenue into Department 160, Public Works Administration and Engineering.
Additional sponsors, Alderman Dowd, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Harriet Gathright, and myself. Did I miss anyone? No? Okay. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Budget Review Committee and schedule a special Board of Aldermen public hearing on Monday, May 17th, 2021 at 7 p.m.
First reading of Resolution R21-135, authorizing a First Amendment to purchase and sale agreement for real property located at 141 through 143 Burke Street, map 11, lot 158.
The additional sponsors, Alderman Dowd, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Harriet Gathright,
Alderman Karen.
Alderman Karen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Committee on Infrastructure. There being no objection, I will allow for the suspension of the rules for a first reading of R21-136.
First reading of Resolution R21-136, authorizing developer agreement with payment in lieu of taxes, pilot for Bronstein redevelopment.
Additional sponsors, Alderman Dowd, Alderman O'Brien, Alderman Schmidt, Alderman Clee, Alderman Harriet Gathright, Alderman Clemmons. Did I get everyone? Given its first reading, I'll assign it to the Budget Review Committee, the Board of Public Works, and the Nashua City Planning Board. New business ordinances.
First reading of ordinance O2161, changing the location of the handicapped parking space on Water Street.
Additional sponsors, Alderman Dowd, Alderman Clee. Given its first reading, I'll assign that to the Committee on Infrastructure. Period for general public comment. Is there anyone that
Hi.
wishes to address
Yes.
the board?
Lori Ortolano?
Lori Ortolano, please go ahead. The name and address for the record and 3 minutes, please.
Yeah, I'll start my my phone
Thank
time
you.
clock. Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street. I'm addressing the whole board because I know we're coming into budget season, and I am not a proponent of maintaining the right to know coordinator position in the legal office. I really feel that position did not work out the way we had intended it to work out. And I really believe that filling right to knows for the public should be happening within the departments that carry the information, not running them up through legal. It's been pretty much a disaster for a lot of people trying to do that interface through legal. It's complicated. There's all these privileged information things. I know you had one lawsuit filed. I filed a lawsuit through Attorney Gagliuso on Monday. There's 2 or 3 more in the queue that are coming in. And it's all because of the way it's handled up in the legal office. And I just feel it's an expensive position, and we shouldn't be funding that anymore. Let the departments handle the public requests. And when you need legal assistance, provide the assistance. You're abusing attorney-client privilege and hiding information from the public when you do it the way that it's being done right now. Because a lot of responses that are coming from the legal office are just matters of business, to type a letter that could be done in the department where there is no advisement being given by the attorney, but they're writing it and then not technically owning it. The individual from the department is responsible for actually verifying that the data is done. So I have hated the way that position worked. I think it's been a huge disservice and an obstacle to the public, and certainly to me. And I don't think we need that in our budget. Also, I just need to put out to you folks that I am just appalled at the level of hatred that this city rains down on members of the public that point out an issue. Never in my wildest dreams could I have believed that I would have encountered the level of hatred from the mayor, Attorney Bolton, Attorney Leonard, and Kim Kleiner. It's unprecedented to address issues. What's happened with my property appeal is just unbelievable. And they brought in a guy who committed perjury, and we have a perjury charge that's really being looked at by the Board of Tax and Land Appeal. The level of the fight, I just don't understand, because I was never a person who carried that level of hatred. And it was my attorney, Lehman, who said to me, you have to understand how much these people hate you. It's been tough. And it's not really funny, Alderman O'Brien. It really isn't. It's been very costly, a huge cost to the city. And it's just disgraceful. Just disgraceful. So I think you have a lot to think about and a lot to change in how you address people.
Is there anyone else that wishes to address the board? Okay, I don't see anyone. Remarks by the members of the board. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. If I may to take the liberty, it's not that I thought anything is funny. I think we, all of us, when we become elected officials, we give up an awful lot. We give up some of our free time, some of our liberties. We are spoken to within the street on different matters. We receive phone calls. And in some cases, we receive a plethora of emails from one or two or many constituents. But the thing is to accuse that we have a level of hate. I don't see anybody, and I'm proud to say, serving on this particular board with many of you, that I think I can speak to say that we all do not have any hate or any contempt to any city resident. And to imply such, I do feel somewhat offended. I think all of us have worked very hard for our constituents. And it wasn't so much as a laugh, it was almost like a little bit of shocking disbelief that I would be accused of anything of hate, or any of us be accused, particularly the way to serve on this particular board. I think I encourage others, throw your hat in the ring if you really love the city, and I think we all do. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Alderman Dowd.
Yes, I know that the Attorney Newman was hired to help with the assessing, but I can tell you unequivocally that the legal department is extremely busy, and Attorney Newman has helped significantly on many of the matters with the school projects. So to say that he's not living up to what he's supposed to be doing, I think he's exceeding that. The legal department is extremely busy. They're busy every single day, even on the weekends. So kudos go out to that entire department.
Alderman Jettie.
Thank you, Madam President. It was good to hear the mayor say that we have finally, it sounds like we're getting a handle on our healthcare costs. And I would like to thank all of the employees who have chosen the new health plan option, which has enabled us to lower our healthcare costs. And if it wasn't for them, this wouldn't have worked at all. So my hat's off to those employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Lopez.
First, I'd like to agree with Alderman O'Brien. As elected officials, we do tend to get some pushback from the public every now and then. Largely, personally, I see positive comments, but there are people who just aren't going to see you as a person. They're going to see you as an obstacle or a stereotype of a politician. And there's a lot of negativity towards politicians. So, I guess I see both sides in this case, that maybe some members of the public don't like politicians. Maybe politicians don't have a soft spot in their hearts for some members of the public. That doesn't mean that either side shouldn't listen to the others when they make reasonable points or reasonable arguments. I hear what Ms. Orleano is saying about not being in favor of the budget item for the right to know office. I'm not in favor of spending money on it either, but I do see the necessity of it. I think the number of right to know requests, I mean, I think Ms. Orleano herself was cited as drastically increasing the number of right to know requests. So if the public has that need for that kind of information, then we need to treat it very carefully, and we do need to document how we're treating it and all those matters. There is some irony, I think, in having a member of the public come forward and say that we don't need a position to be in the legal department, while also reporting to us that she is suing us again, and others are too. I think if anything, that just really drives down why we need that point and why we need to be very careful and attentive to right to know laws. Because right to know laws are important for the person requesting the information, but it's also important to make sure that the people whose information is being provided to that person, their rights are being maintained, and the city is the custodian of that. Additionally, I'd like to express my condolences to the friends and the family of Linda Kipnis. She was a longtime leader of Nashua in Nashua Soup Kitchen. She did a lot of work for our community, and she will definitely be missed in many ways. I think in a lot of other ways, though, she started programs and inspired leaders that will continue her work. So while I know she will be missed, I don't think she'll really be gone. And then finally, I'd like to just announce, well, I mean, I guess not announce, but remind the public that Cinco de Mayo is coming up. If for some reason you decide to celebrate Mexican heritage by drinking a lot, pick your friends carefully, because we are somewhat still in the middle of an epidemic. No healthcare provider is ever going to recommend a lot of drinking. It does compromise your immune system. It leads to bad decision makings. Support your local restaurants, get a meal, but be careful how you spend your day. Thanks.
Alderman Harry Gathright.
On a positive note, I just want to mention, like our mayor stated, the shots that were given in Merrimack, I think it was at Fidelity. I ran into a constituent today, Deidre Reynolds. Some of you guys might know her, and she really talked so positive about the experience she had on Saturday at Fidelity. So just wanted to also say kudos to the Board of Health, you know, for the work that they do.
Thank you, Alderman Harry Gathright. Alderman Clee.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to first start by reminding those that have been helping with the cleanup. We had Whitney Street cleanup scheduled for this Sunday, but due to the rain, we have rescheduled for next Sunday, meeting at Foster Square at 10 a.m. I hope that we can get more people, even more people this time. And you don't have to be a Ward 3 resident. We had Ward 4 and Ward 1 last time around, and I look forward to seeing more city people come. I want to bring up two other issues. One is I agree with what Alderman Jettie had to say about our healthcare costs, and I want to thank those employees who did choose the plan that helps us out. And I'd also like to give kudos to Director Kleiner and all the others that helped to work out this plan so that we have something better to help bring down our healthcare costs. It starts with the plan, and then it starts with the employees willing to accept this plan. And I think really we give thanks to all of those around. I'd also like to bring up the subject that was brought up. I think our legal department is incredible. I think they work very hard. And I agree with what Alderman Lopez said. The fact that we do have lawsuits, and the fact that we do have so many right to know requests does mean that we do need a person that is going to be dedicated to that. While his entire job is not that, it's good to have one point person within it. When I worked for Department of Defense, I was the FOIA person. I was the one person that all FOIA requests went to, and that way we had the record, we had all the information and so on. So while none of us like to have any what someone might consider extraneous personnel, I think it's a wise position to have. And I think in the end will save the city money to be able to focus our right to know requests onto that. I don't believe that we have a level of hatred from our city workers, from our mayor, or from anybody else. Yes, maybe somebody might feel antagonistic towards another person, but that is not a level of hatred. That's a whole different type of situation. And I think I'll leave it at that, other than to say is I believe all of the members of this board, as well as at least the city employees that I have dealt with, bend over backwards to try to help constituents, to help the citizens and so on. And I want to thank all of my colleagues for all that they do, and the city workers as well. So thank you.
Anyone else? Alderwoman Lou.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I wanted to just reiterate something I brought up the other night, that my concern with staffing for our vaccination sites, we are less than halfway through the process, and I think that we can save money for everyone if some of the work and some of the roles that are being done on overtime by city departments were relegated to an unskilled task force, such as is used in the finance department when they get extra work that they need done, they hire out. I'm concerned that the overtime and the retirement costs that may result from this are going to be onerous. The other thing I just wanted to say, I didn't feel the speaker commented, the speaker's comment mentioned hate emanating from this board. So I understood her to say that she felt it from the staff, the city workers, and whether or not that's true, I don't know, but I didn't take it as a reflection of the board. So I wanted to point out that I don't think she did. I just want to be careful to also point out that if you don't feel like you're qualified or you have time to run or to serve as a public servant on the board of aldermen rather, you still have the right to complain, and you still have our ear. So that's all I wanted to point out.
Anyone else? Alderman Dowd.
Yes, I just want to point out that the vast majority of the overtime that's been realized at the vaccine centers are members of the Nashua Fire Rescue and just a few police officers. And all of that overtime is being covered by COVID funds coming from the federal government.
Anyone else?
Well, just to follow up on that point.
Alderwoman Lou.
As I mentioned the other night, I understand that the hourly rate is being paid, but my concern is with how this may affect people who are retiring within the next couple of years and affect us. Yeah, I'm also.
Madam President?
Alderman Karen.
Yes, may I speak on Alderwoman Lou's concern about pension?
Yes.
If you're in the state pension, your overtime, unless you're a police officer or a fireman, your overtime does not count as part of your pension results when you retire. So doesn't matter how many hours they may work as getting for overtime, it does not count unless they're a police officer or a fireman. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Lopez.
I just wanted to also clarify, it was pointed out at the meeting by myself that the individuals running the clinic are largely unaffiliated, so they're not looking to pensions or anything like that. I don't know if the National Guard is who Alderman Lou is referring to, but they're the only ones I can think of, and I don't think they get a pension either.
Alderman Clements.
Yeah, in regards to the overtime as well, we were told at the budget committee last night that according to our CFO, who in my opinion is one of the best in the country that I've seen, which is why we have a AAA bond rating, said not to worry about things like that, mostly because the salaries are being paid by the feds, by the federal government that we have, and that overtime is something that fluctuates and is really out of our control, depending on the situation that we find ourselves in. So I think the need is there. I think the federal government recognizes that the need is there, and I think it's a very good thing that we have qualified firefighters and qualified police officers who are certified and are the perfect type of personnel to ask to work overtime and do vaccination clinics and other things that help out with the pandemic work. So I think in that case, I think the city's very lucky. And if we end up paying somebody a little bit more in their pension, that's the cost of doing business when there's a pandemic. And hopefully we won't see another one of these for another 100 years.
Can I follow up on that, please?
Alderwoman Lowe.
I just want to make it clear that what I'm referring to is when we use skilled city workers for a job to do something that does not require a skill. For instance, picking up the sheet of paper that tells our vaccinated staff when they can leave, telling people to go to that line or this line. In fact, this is something that we can control. I understand Alderman Clemens has stated that this is something that we can't control, but I'm only bringing it up because I feel it can be controlled. And I hope that rather than that you'll just consider what I'm saying and consider, just with an open mind, consider other options that may save the city money. Thank you. I'm all set.
Anyone else? Committee assignments, committee announcements.
Madam President, if I may.
Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you. Seems to be a little confusion or misinformation or a lack of complete understanding. But I can attest to why that is the fire department there. They're not really there to run around with clipboards and cue people into the line. It's because people are receiving a drug. And sometimes when you receive a drug, you can have a reaction to the drug, and that's called anaphylactic shock, which is life-threatening. Everybody that is there from Nashua Fire Rescue is a certified EMT and has maintained a class level to assist in that type of an emergency. And it can assist the paramedics with advanced life support if, God bless, it is required. But what happens, people do get that shot. Sometimes they do feel ill with the shot. I don't think there's been a complete full-blown of anaphylactic shock because of it, but that's the true reason why they're there. If you do see them with the clipboard and everything, I think it's a matter of efficiency. They're truly there for the one particular reason is if something should go wrong with a person who is getting a shot, they will be the intervening force. And through efficiencies, they're just helping around as generally everybody does. So that is really more the tail of the tape of what they're actually doing out there.
Well, the other thing is that who else are we going to find to do this? I mean, these people have regular jobs. We expect them to be there when we call for a fire or when we call for a police officer. So it has to be done on overtime. I mean, we can't take all the police off the street and the firefighters out of the firehouses and just say, here you go. I mean, we need these people and they're there for us. So that's just my point. Now I'll take committee announcements.
Madam President,
Alderman O'Brien?
Yes, tomorrow night being Wednesday, the 28th at 7 p.m., the Infrastructure Committee will be convening. Thank you.
Alderman Karen?
yes, thank you. Personnel will be meeting next Monday, May 3rd at 7 o'clock.
Any other committee announcements? Seeing none. Alderman O'Brien?
Thank you, Madam President. A motion that the April 27th, 2021 meeting of the Board of Aldermen be adjourned by roll call.
The motion is to adjourn. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Alderman Jettie,
Yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Yes.
Alderman Laws,
Yes.
Alderman Harry Gathright,
Yes.
Alderman Wiltshire.
Yes.
You have 12 yeas and 0 nays.
And that motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:51 p.m. Thank you, everyone.